Welcome back to Sonic Creations, everyone. So I just want to paint a little picture for you guys of like what you can expect from this project and where my head is at going into this and why is it happening. So if you don't already know, Sonic Doomsday and Sonic Revolution were the first two story arcs of my Sonic animated series. So what I'd like to do, now that Cybernetics is here, which is the third installment, and it's so much more advanced, I put much more time and care into it, and it's much more polished, I want to basically give Doomsday and Revolution the same treatment and bring them up to the standard of quality that is expected of me now, while still pushing the boundaries forward, of course, of like what's possible and making these episodes look the best they can. So it's also a nice break from Cybernetics because I feel like this is a nice creative exercise to sort of break up the constant go, go, go with the Cybernetics story, you know, to just be able to tell a different type of story and to be able to explore a section of the story that we have never explored before. So what I mean by that is the first episode that I'm going to have ready by, I think, January or February is going to be Sonic Doomsday Reimagined Ep.0. And this episode is going to basically be an origin story for Scourge, who is the anti-Sonic from another universe where everything is like the opposite, in case you didn't know. And so hopefully through this experience you'll get more connected to Scourge and you'll have a greater understanding of his universe and where he came from and what things were like there, what's his relationship with Dr. Kentober, which is again the opposite of Dr. Robotnik. So that's really fun to explore. I think that's exciting. And then we're going to see how he gets to this universe and how he gets entangled with Sonic and his friends and becomes a part of the group, right, as we know. Then next year, I'm basically going to put all of my energy into finishing Cybernetics and getting episode 7 finale out, and then the movie will follow shortly behind that. I may do a remaster of Sonic Cybernetics episode 1 as well before the movie comes out to just kind of fix some things with animation, and I may replace a scene or two just to sort of boost it up because that's the most outdated episode out of all of the Cybernetics episodes, so that one may need some touch-ups, but other than that, yeah, the movie will be out, and then once all that's released around summer of 2025, then we'll just go right back into Sonic Doomsday Reimagined. We'll remake the whole series, which will take much less time than making something original because again, I've already done it, although I am changing some things and I'm redoing the script in a lot of areas, and possibly we'll even use different maps for certain scenes. It's generally going to be the same. It's going to keep the same identity. It's going to keep the same core of the story. It's just there's going to be some minor differences here and there. So I think as well that like it just felt like a really good time to do it because I'm in no rush to get to Sonic Aftermath. I know that series is coming and I've been prepping that story for years, as I've said in the past. In my opinion, like what's more time gonna do? It's only gonna make it better if I push it back and delay it so we can do this reimagined series and I can fix Doomsday and Revolution, bring them up to the standard of quality. I think I'll keep the originals up. I'm not entirely sure, but that is the big announcement that I wanted to make. But just talking more about episode 0 and sort of like what suddenly made me passionate about this project, so passionate that I had to do it before finishing Cybernetics. So I've always wanted to do a prequel for Doomsday, but I never really figured out exactly how I would handle it. And so I've been thinking about it in the back of my mind for a little while, and now like something just clicked into place the past couple months, and I have been working really, really hard. Through this process, I've expanded the entire universe. Future stories have changed because of this episode. It's a really big episode with a really big reveal, and that reveal is Cyber Metal Sonic. So this character is an original character that I created a couple years back. I just made the design. It's really just a texture swap, but it's turning into more than that. And that's sort of where I'm going with this, is that there's going to be a new villain sort of teased as a part of Scourge's origin story. Sometime in the future, we'll see this villain again, but that's all I'm going to say. But it's the first original villain in the show, which I think is why it's such a big deal. And it's really exciting to be able to tease just a little bit of what he's capable of before fully going all out with that character later on. you know? Like, it's gonna be really exciting. And I'm really looking forward to the reaction to this character. So now I did want to touch on one more thing before I end out this video, because I don't want it to be too long. It's really just to kind of check in with you guys and show you what I've been working on and why uploads have been a little slow. But I wanted to say one more thing about Canon. As I've said in the past, all the official game stories did happen to some capacity in my Canon. I'm starting to lean a little bit further away from that and just go ahead and say that, like, maybe not all of them exactly happened. And if they did, like the major ones, like the Sonic Adventure 2 plotline, the Shadow the Hedgehog plotline, did happen in my Canon, but they happened differently with different characters involved. So those stories happened, but they happened in my canon. For example, if I ever made a prequel series of just doing the Shadow the Hedgehog story, I would be doing it completely differently than how the games did it. So it's my own original canon that is not attached to anything. So it's completely its own thing, and that's what I wanted to do from the start. But I think I wanted people to feel a little bit more connected to these versions of these characters. So saying that those stories happened and referencing them, like the Forces storyline also happening in my canon, where Eggman tries to take over the world and he takes over 99.9 whatever, like all that story happened in my canon. So it's weird, you know, I don't want to outright say that every single story happened in my canon, but I'd say the major ones did in their own way. So that's what I'll say about the canon of my show. But yeah, I'm really interested in doing more prequels actually and expanding the lore, but for now, this will be the only prequel that I'm working on for a little while, unless I do a flashback in a future episode. This is pretty much as far back as we're gonna go for a while, so I think that's why it's really exciting for me, and I'm so passionate to be working on this episode and to get it out. So hopefully it'll be out in January, if not then February. But think of this as my little Christmas present to you all, and as a thank you for supporting my show. And Cybernetics did really well. We're not done yet, but like overall it did really well, and I think it's what put, or at least helped put, my channel on the map. I think ending Cybernetics is going to be emotional for sure, because years of my life were, you know, working on that. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, creators.